Hey, good morning. It's Easter Sunday. What's up? Yeah. Um, good to be here with you. Thanks for tuning in, even though it's Easter and probably want to be either at church or well, I guess it's not Easter for Cicely anymore, but doing your thing, find some eggs, some bunnies, whatever else they commercialize on us for this holiday. But it means it's springtime. It means that I think it's a kind of fertility thing going on, and good to see you all coming in here. Let's start off today. Oh, I got my pigs right there, so you can see the little baby pigs chilling. They're taking a nap. It's early in the morning, but they're getting big and huge. So let's go here. And today is peace, which is pretty appropriate, actually. Day, okay. So, heaven exists on earth for those who maintain correct thoughts and actions. This hexagram signifies a time similar to spring. Hey, cool. There's a strong flow of energy and harmony and prosperity. There's a strong flow of energy, and harmony and prosperity are the reward of those who correctly balance their higher and lower natures. It is by remaining aware of our inferior self while ensuring that the superior self governs our conduct that we arrive in a state of peace. See yourself as a young tree now. The ground around you is fertile. Sun and water and wind are plentiful. By maintaining your focus on moving upward toward the light, clarity, and purity, you reach great heights. If you become entangled in inferior things, you will not enjoy the full benefit of this gracious hour. Stay balanced, innocent, and correct, and good fortune is assured. So, yeah, that's kind of funny. It's interesting, this passage here really kind of relates to, natural farming in a certain sense of that it doesn't say like the fertilizer around you is there. It says, that really what you need to grow is sun, water, and wind. I think that's funny because when you talk to Master Cho and you ask him about farming, he always starts like real basic, like with the elements. And people are like, yeah, but I want to get into this and that. And he's like, no. Like, it starts with the heat, coming from the sun, right? You got three heats. You got the heat of the sun. You got the heat of the earth. Like the sun, obviously you just go outside on a sunny day and it's like, that'll heat you up, right? The heat of the earth, meaning dig down into the ground and you'll find like there's geothermal heat. There's heat from the earth. And the third heat being the heat of life. Like me, I'm hot. The microorganisms, when they reproduce with each other, they create heat. And those are the three heats that are available to us. And utilizing those three heats, right? Heat of the sun, heat of the earth, but then also the microorganisms that we can get in the ground and around our plants. They also create another heat. So they're part of this like heat, the sun. And then water, he talks about, how, there's basically four types of water. And let's see if I can remember them all right now. But basically it's like, underground water is one of them, which has no oxygen. Rivers, which have about 3% oxygen. Rainwater, which has I think 7 to 14% oxygen, or I think it's 7% oxygen, basically dissolved oxygen. And what's the fourth water? I don't know. I should probably pull it up ahead of time. I think it's like hose water. which has, again, 0% oxygen. I don't know. I'm probably messing that up. But all those things come together, and it's important that you get the water from with the oxygen in it, right? And if you're just using hose water, dead water to water your plants, you're going to kill them, and they're going to be, not as good as you need them to be. And then again, he talks about the air, like being important, like, like one of the main things that causes like disease in plants is not enough airflow. Like, for instance, if you're in a greenhouse and you don't have fans in there pushing around air, they're not going to pollinate as well. You're not going to get as high reproduction. Molds and things are going to run rampant because there's no airflow. And same for me, oftentimes when Master Cho would come here to look at my farm, he'd be like, there's not enough air. And that's because I'd plant the plants too close. It's the tropics and things smother each other and they grow so quickly and smash each other. But, my bananas, if I don't go in there and I don't prune the dead leaves off, then the airflow doesn't come through. And then I'm much more susceptible to getting disease and discomforts and things in there. And so all these things, when they talk about peace and it's like balancing above and below, it's like thinking about, what we're doing above the ground, but then also simultaneously balancing what's happening below the ground. And Korean natural farming is one of the few farming methodologies out there that really, really, really sets the focus on below and getting good roots, getting good foundation, getting good soil, bringing your soil to life. And then subsequently above, you prosper. So it's not focused specifically on like, making your plant perform this way or that way. It can be, but it's primarily, if you don't have your soil set up, it's like a waste to do anything else. And it's not thinking about just putting salts and juicing the ground with these fertilizers. It's thinking about putting things that are going to encourage living biology out there. So, balancing above and below, super vital for us, right? And the more we do that, the better we get. And that, springtime, microbes are going nuts. Time to go, apply your IMO if you have it. If you don't, just make some quick, disgustingly cheap microbes, put that out there. The time is now, and things will really respond by putting these out. So again, I really like this hexagram itself, number 11, peace. And it's great. And yeah, Solar Goer Maze asking, and the Goofman already got the answer, but asking, what do you think about stinging nettles for making KNF food? They're the most abundant green plant here this time of year. Absolutely. When you have an abundant plant that's out there, that's putting out tons of, it just is thriving at this time of year, harvest it. It's full of vitality, full of life. And you'll be able to get a plant juice that not only has the nutrition of nettles, which I think is actually pretty darn good, but it also has that vitality, those enzymes, those hormones that are making that plant pop at that time. They are, it's full of life, and that's those hormones and enzymes that you get. Like those are highly, there in addition to like the NPK and all the trace nutrients and all the components that make that plant vital, but it's those hormones that's making that thing go. And if you take that plant juice and you make it into a plant juice and you spray it on a different plant, those hormones are going to be translated. So you're going to get even better results. And, nettle tea, yeah, it's highly nutritious to drink. Majority of your weeds, things that people would consider weeds, are actually really medicinal, highly medicinal. And they really work to, make, like, they're there to heal the earth, and they're there to make things just thrive. They're kind of like scabs healing things. I don't know. I've never analyze the scab, but I bet you a scab is like if I pick my skin and there's a scab forming, I bet you a scab is highly nutritious. I don't know. I've never heard anybody analyze those things, but similar, like the weeds that take over on a bare earth, are usually highly nutritious and delicious. I don't know if they're delicious, but they're nutritious. So, and George is starting an IMO 3 pile today. Wish you luck. Awesome, man. Yeah. Yeah, just keep the thermometer in there, and manage the height of your pile. If it's too cold, stack it higher. If it's too hot, make it thinner, and just keep watching it. And I really, great time to be doing that. Wish you luck, man. It'd really be cool to see that coming up to Latvia. Man, nothing better than your own raw milk in there for cream. So yeah, and doing it in a greenhouse is awesome. Stonemason did a bunch of stuff indoors in a greenhouse, and it's really, really great thing. So yeah. Any advice? James is asking. His farm's soil pH reads 7.5, which is neutral. And he's growing bananas and vanilla, not doing good. Any advice on soil pH? My advice on soil pH is forget about it. I know that may sound weird, and you're probably getting reports from people that are wanting you to either put a bunch of calcium and make it, make it more alkaline, or I don't know what would make it more acidic, because my soil here is always acidic, and they're always like, you need more calcium. But the truth is, soil pH, and why I say forget about it, is because if I'm going to try and macro change the pH in my field, that's not good thinking, because what you want to do is you want to change the pH right around your root zone. So I'm making my hand like this. Obviously your roots are much smaller, but you just want to change the pH right in this zone right around here, because you want to make the nutrients right here soluble, right? And changing pH changes the solubility of different nutrients in the soil. But if I make it soluble here and water comes by, now your water is going to solubilize that, and those nutrients are just going to go away. So if I change my pH over here, where there aren't roots, it's going to go away. I want to change just the pH right in the root zone. And how do you do that? To change the pH in the root zone, you need good biology. Good biology means to make IMO, or disgustingly cheap microbes, and to make those and to put them into the soil, and they will go down and in around the roots, and then different fungus and different bacteria will actually change the pH right in this zone, right around your root, and they will solubilize the different. Open this. They'll solubilize the different nutrients right in the root zone. And that's where you want it to be solubilized. That's where you want it to go. So thinking about changing pH is, I guess if you're indoors and you're growing in a pot, maybe managing the pH is okay. But if you chase pH, you will forever be chasing pH, and you'll forever be putting these different things, and you won't be changing the pH where it matters. What you want to be doing is you want to put in organic matter, organic material, and microorganisms into your soil, and biochar. And those things will start to buffer the pH, and the microbes can move different materials away into the biochar or into the root zone, depending on how they need to change the biology and the pH. And so if you're trying to macro manage it by dumping a bunch of stuff on the ground to say, oh, I'm going to change my pH, you're not changing it where it matters. It matters in the root zone. And the biology will automatically manage the pH to be exactly where it needs to be. And that's something that as a human, it's very hard to do, because you don't know at that exact moment, and it can change moment by moment. It can change from day to night how and what your plant needs at that time. And so it's best to put the biology in charge and let them manage the pH. So when I say, forget about pH, it's like, well, yeah, forget about it, but don't forget about it in terms of putting good biology out there. You put the good biology, you put enough organic matter, and they'll tell you put compost and that kind of stuff. Those things really do make a huge difference. And your pH then will be exactly what it needs to be, where it needs to be. And if you're worried about your soil and stuff, you know, growing bananas and vanilla, both of those plants will easily take food directly into them via making, you know, KNF food, fuel, cleanser, medicine, structure, all these other solutions, and you can spray them directly in and surrogately feed your plant until your soil pH becomes managed by the biology and you get enough living biology in there. So it's kind of that's the way you want to go about it, is don't yourself try to change it, really, unless you're in a potted plant thing inside, and then just try and make it neutral and then get enough compost in there. And you're already at neutral, so don't worry about it. Just add more compost, add more biology, add more IMOs, whether it's disgustingly cheap, easy ones to make, or it's, you know, you go through the whole IMO 1, 2, 3, 4 process. It's really about just getting that stuff in there. So, so George was asking any advice how to start walnut trees and what compost soil can be made by KNF. I was thinking to use old broadleaf wood chip pile if seeds start sprouting. Yeah, you know, making compost from wood chips, something that helps things to compost faster are the lactic acid bacteria, or I call them the KNF protectors. You spray that into your compost pile, it'll help your compost break down about twice as fast. And so just diluting it 1 to 1,000 and drenching your compost pile, bringing it up to 60% moisture content, and it will start to break down much quicker. And that's, you know, and then the last week, the goof man was saying, yeah, he's saying it again, squirrels just stuck the seeds in his garden and they sprouted everywhere. So get a bunch of squirrels to plant them for you. They know where, I guess. But yeah, and if you're curious about biochars and those things, you know, you can click on my channel below there, or I think on this little heart thing on the right, it'll also let you subscribe to the channel. Then you'll find it on the left, and I'll just show you quickly here on my channel. I'm going to pull this up here. What is it? knfvideo.com, and it'll automatically go to my YouTube channel. I think I still have, yeah, which I guess is just YouTube user Hungry Child too. That's another way to get there. But I'm going to switch these screens over. This one here will work. And I'll slide this over. And that way you can see it. And I'm just going to go here to this little thing here and go over here to search. And I'm going to search for biochar. And from here, there's a whole bunch of resources on biochar. So if you're on my channel, Pure KNF Dr. Drake, of my 922 videos that are out there as of today, searching for biochar, this vermicompost biochar, it's interesting to listen to Vince talk about it. We're also, oh, this video is actually kind of cool. I'll show this one in one sec. And then listening to Josiah Hunt talk about it, you know, so here's biochar plants, microbes galore, mature biochar. Here's Josiah talking to us again in 2016 at our Farmers Union meeting. Let me enable this. You can see my mouse better. And then here again, getting biocharged, natural farming. You know, Josiah talking about specifically natural farming with this. Again, there's a biochar playlist, but then Josiah Hunt on local natural farming inputs. He's talking about compost and biochar. So if you're interested in the composting and biochar, this one is great. You know, again, I talk about how to use IMO and build soil, and I'm talking about biochar because that's a huge component of it. Yeah, and then even in the office hours, we've talked about biochar a whole lot, right? Yeah, you know that, you know, in all these episodes of this, you know, some IMOs, melting Puna rock. But of those 922 videos I have, look how many of them talk about biochar and this kind of stuff. Even the Microbial Secret Society, we had some episodes on that. And just how to restore all these things. So anyway, tons of resources out there, but let's just go quickly to this video. Let's see here. You can see I'm looking at the fungus through a microscope, trying to get the phone to focus on there. But that's fungus growing out of this piece of biochar right there. You see, look at that mature, nice, sweet fungus. When you put biochar in your soil, it gets just epic here. You know, there, got it a little bit more zoomed in there. But that one there, and then let's see, this one here. Let's see, cancel that one. And again, I'm just trying to look with my phone camera into the microscope, which is not the easiest way to look at it. But that's a piece of biochar right there, and look at all that fungus coming out of it. And this is what I'm talking about, you know, you want to balance your pH. You get good compost. These microbes will actually change your pH exactly where they need to be changed. And there's all kinds of fungus coming out of here, and they will move nutrients to where your roots need them and all this. So this is the way I'm suggesting to do it. Biochar, these things, you know, this is the benefit. That's what it is. Looks like actually it's an iPad that I'm looking at it with. But, you know, not the best video in the world, but, you know, it's kind of like you're spying into this world there of seeing what you see. But lots of resources on that there. And like George is saying, he uses a double barrel retort to do it. And he gets great charcoal in the middle of the barrel, and he can just set it up and leave. So again, if you're trying to make biochar, you know, there's some great advice from George here of how to do it. Can I give you a quick rundown on sea salt and proper application, please? I just received some sea salt that's supposed to be from 2,000 foot depth. Wow, I don't know how they got that, but awesome. Yeah, why not? Let's do a little bit of knfMinerals. Why not? Seems like a good time. Let's see, where's my book at? There it is. And unfortunately, well, I'll get to that after, I guess. But let's see here. knfMinerals, where you at? Right here. Okay, so we'll transition over. This is my book. It's available on knfsupport or naturalfarminghawaii.net. Both of them go to the same place. But basically, seawater is naturally 3% salinity, okay? So what our goal is to make it 0.3 to 0.1% salinity, okay? Somewhere in there is going to be super useful for agricultural purposes. So that's what you want. If you got natural seawater, 3%, so that means you dilute it 10 to 1, and you're going to get 0.3%, and you dilute it 30 to 1, and you're going to get 0.1%, right? So those are the things here. It says, you know, to make 0.3, dilute it 1 to 10, 0.1, 1 to 30, right here. So it says. And so that way you're able to get it useful for agriculture. However, if you have sea salt, well, the key here is to make 0.3 salinity. You add 3 grams of sea salt for every liter. Every liter. This isn't gallons. This is every liter. Okay. So there's about approximately 4 liters per gallon, and that's how much you add. You know, so times that by 4. So you'd add like 12 grams per gallon, essentially, for 0.3%, which is going to be a bit strong. Or you'd add 1 gram for every liter, so 4 grams per every gallon to get 0.1% salinity, which is more akin to like where you're wanting to be, you know, between these two ranges. So anywhere between 12 to 12 to 4 grams per gallon of sea salt, and you're going to be right there. The interesting thing about sea salt or seawater itself is it contains DNA and RNA, meaning it has microorganisms from the sea that have DNA and RNA in them. Tell that to Fauci. And then if you gather from the top of the top inch of the sea, you're going to get a bunch of microorganism life. If you just have sea salt, you're going to get a bunch of these chemicals. And if you look at this and we zoom in here a little bit, you'll see that every single element here is represented. There's chlorine, sodium, obviously, sodium chloride, obviously. There's sulfur, magnesium, calcium, potassium, BR, I don't know what BR is. Carbon, nitrogen, SR, boron, silicon, oxygen, rust, I mean, iron, argon, lithium, RB. Let's see how many of these I know. Phosphorus, what is iodine, Ba, barium, yeah, molybdenum, uranium. I don't know what the V is. Veritasium. No, I don't think that's an element. Zinc, copper, everything you're going to get. Selenium, copper, xeon, I guess Fe's, rust, I don't know. Aluminum, titanium. Yeah, I don't really know the periodic table that well is what I'm learning. There's gold in there. There's Ag. There's Pb, lead, right? All these things. Gallium, whatever. Every single thing. More things than the periodic table is apparently what it goes to. Of all these elements in there. So that's what you're getting. That's the beauty of adding this sea salt and things in and diluting it. And basically, it's this concept here. When you have exhausted soil, it's compacted like this. All your soil's lining up like little plates. And when you add the seawater and diluted, they go in and then the water dries up and then these elements start to break your soil up. So now it has airspace. Now it's got flocculation. It's fluffy. It's like now air and water can penetrate into your soil by putting sea salt down there. Are you going to oversalt your land? No, because there's humic acids that are created by the soil, and those humic acids buffer this salt, and they actually use it as these nutrients versus it being salt, and you're not getting too much sodium or chloride in there. And it's actually, even if you have salty soil, you can still use seawater because the salt that's coming up from you need more humic acid really is what it is. But bringing all these things in, it's going to work better. So there you go on that. That's a little bit of sea salt for you. And yeah, so that's a quick little rundown. But basically, it's 3 grams per liter or 1 gram per liter, depending on your salinity. And there's different reasons to use it. I actually talk about it down here on the bottom. Let me see. Let's go back to this screen here. Right here at the bottom, talked about it a little bit more. That 2 weeks before harvest, you can apply it 1 to 20. 1 week before harvest, 1 to 15. 2 days before harvest at 1 to 10. And this will get you an enhanced ripening formula because those extra minerals really help the land or your fruit to stress it out a little bit, but put those extra minerals in there, which makes it sweeter. And then typical soil treatment solution is this 1 to 30 or 1 to 15 if you have a lot of rainfall. So, but 1 to 30 being typical. So your typical is 1 gram per liter. Oh, look, the little pigs are moving around. Where are they go? They're going to mom. I cropped it so you can't see them right now. But yeah, I bet you they're going to nurse. Should we go look at the pigs real quick? Let's see here. I gotta do this and go to this and then grab this and then grab it like this. Yeah, they're going to nurse. Look at them. They're all going to nurse. Don't fall out of the pig pen, pigs. But yeah, the little pig's going over there to nurse. Short Ribs is such a good mom. She's been doing so well for them. Yeah, she I bet you, I can't hear her, but because I'm not listening to it, but I bet she's grunting. Oh, and you guys get to hear the pigs while, I guess I'm not monitoring that sound. I'm just hearing my thing through this. But yeah, I bet you can hear her grunting for the little pigs. Cool. Okay. So Zach W is asking, would adding labs like the KNF protectors to big vermicompost be worth doing? Absolutely. They're going to be compatible with your vermicomposter, and it'll help them to break it down quicker. So yeah, adding, and it'll help keep disease. Chilling. Yeah, chilling. Hey, what's up? You guys, awesome. Yeah, mixed up the soil for starting seeds inside. Awesome. Yeah, spring is coming. It's Easter, you guys. Awesome. How cool is this? Um, yeah, and Findo Genius. We have less salt in the seawater here in Finland, probably because all the fjords are leaking glacial water because it's cold and snow melt and stuff. But here in Hawaii, we also have less salt in our on my side of the coast. There's so much fresh water discharging. You can look at it. There's so much fresh water that discharges off the biggest mountain in the world, Mauna Loa. That it puts a lot of fresh water out there. So if you want a ton of minerals, it's best to go out and gather the water from deep. But if I get it from the top, it goes. The pigs had me smiling all week. Awesome. You know, since we're on that topic, I had a little interesting thing to show you guys here of just, not this one. I want to go to this one here. Okay. So I put up, you know, it's kind of funny. I put up, let's see, how do I do? I want to go see this one here. So I put up the pigs here. I've been doing little shorts of them. And then the first short I put up only had 114 views here. But the next short had 1,200 and the next one had 1,400 views. And then I thought, oh, put up another short this morning and this thing only has 10 views. So I don't know if people are just celebrating Easter. They're not on the YouTube. Maybe I shouldn't put it up in the morning. But I'm trying to figure it out, trying to get more view counts so that I can get more people tricked into learning Korean natural farming, more people to subscribe to the channel to learn more about this stuff. Hopefully they'll tune into these lives and see. But I just thought it was interesting of just looking at, you know, because my usual videos, like if I go look at the analytics here, which I don't know how many other YouTubers show you this stuff, but, you know, how many views they get and things. But like, look at this, like this petting the pig, this pet, you know, got almost 1,500 views right here. And then my usual views are like 134, 195, 295, 143, 90, 144, 148. So it's like I'm getting 10 times the view count for my cute little pigs. So I've learned that I need to be a hot girl in a bikini to get the views, or a cute little pig, right? And otherwise, you know, having people tune in, you know, it's like here are these, you know, 298, 165, 100, 253, you know, like I'm barely breaking 250. This one got 338. Okay. This was the JMS versus IMO. pH is up to the microbes. Oh, which is another video. If you're going to learn about the pH, check this one out. You know, search the channel, look for the JMS versus IMO. pH is up to the microbes. Again, I talked about this a lot, but you'll find it. But again, my view count, like 200 and stuff, it's just like, and then you get to these pigs and it's like 1,400, 1,200, and they've only been out for like a day, right? But the interesting thing to notice on these is that it goes like this. It goes exponentially up and then it flatlines, right? And so you're seeing this huge uptick of like people consuming this shorts and then it just flatlining out. Versus if I'm on these other videos here, like let's just look at those. They're much more like people watching, and then it continues to climb, right? So it's a little bit different of like this exponential, like consume TikTok now, you gotta have it, right? So anyway, just interesting things that I monitor, because I really would like more people to tune into this stuff. Not that I want to be, you know, this or that, but it, you know, I just think it's more people tuning into KNF, finding out these solutions and these things, you know, this is better for the planet. And then one other interesting related thing I wanted to share with you guys, sort of on a slightly different topic, but similar here, is that this one here is that this is looking at my Amazon simple email service. And I ran this for knfsupport and also naturalfarminghawaii.net and the Microbial Secret Society. They all use this same email service. And I'm under review right now because I've bounced so many emails. And I can, but look at this. So basically my email server was sending out like between 20 to 30 emails like every minute or every hour here. And then all of a sudden I made changes because I got this thing and I was looking down here at the bounce rate and they're all bouncing. Like this just bounce, 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 meaning that they're sending them to no good addresses and they're bouncing back. And I was like, wait, I'm not sending that many emails. What's happening here? And so I went here and I found out there was actually a bot attacking my web server and sending out emails. And right here, I tried to fix it. Apparently I made the problem worse. Got 131 sent in 1 hour. And then finally I fixed the problem and now it dropped down to where I'm sending like 3,00003, so if you visited knfsupport or Natural Farming Hawaii recently, you may notice that I'm having a little bit of errors with the website because I'm still in the progress of fixing this. But basically the bounce rate went down to 0 here until, obviously an email sent, but it's not going to change the ratio that quickly. But I've been just getting cyber attacked. So it's like, what the heck are people trying to accomplish? I don't even know. They didn't see, they're signing up for knfsupport. And I found out there's 160,000 unclaimed accounts that were happening. So I was being attacked by, a script and bots for, several months until I finally realized this problem was happening. And I finally was able to fix it though. You see it go down to 0 immediately. It's like, yes, I fixed it. I beat the bots. So anyway, just, as behind the scenes of fixing all kinds of things here of, oh, look, the little pigs cruising around, of just, it takes a lot to run this thing. And, I'm doing the, oh man, yeah, watch out for my chapters in the SARM book. They're a little, it was a super rough draft that got printed. I was not happy with that book. But yeah, so all these happening, learning, bots and things that I have to keep going. And then also this last week dealing with, the Korean Natural Farming Facebook group. We had a, just drama arise behind the scenes and just, oh man, it's like, I just want to farm and have people be nice to each other and be peaceful and encouraging like you guys are. You guys are really a great audience here. So not to complain too much. Hey. But anyway, I am in the process of fixing my server. So if you try and download the book today, it's probably not going to work, but I'll email you as soon as I get that up and get those things going. Yeah, and diluting, you're right. George is right. Dilute the ratio of the protectors, the KNF lab, to be 1 to 1,000 for a compost. Put some Easter eggs in the stream with the baby pigs. Yeah, you gotta watch. Well, yeah, maybe that would get the likes or subscribes or whatever. I don't, I'm not like I said, I'm not that into it, but I am into spreading KNF around the world. It's like my main mission. So, just had a farm visit yesterday from a 17-year-old kid from Orange County. He was here visiting his grandparents. And at first he was super skeptical of tasting any of the things, but was able to convince him to try some of the fish aminos. And of all the things he tried first, he tried the fish heads in the bucket. I can't believe it, but he tried it and he was like, oh, it's not bad. I'm like, yeah, it's not bad, right? And so getting him to, broaden their horizons and getting this to young kids, it's amazing stuff. And then let's see, one other thing I wanted to share with you guys, because somebody the other day was saying that here's I'm streaming the pigs, but they're not out very, you can't see them that well. So what I was going to do is just share a little bit of pig pictures with you guys here, so you can see them here. These gray boys, and then this one guy that's a doppelganger of her. He got the stripe. And then I got 3 black guys that are just like freaking tanks, man. They're just eating like you wouldn't believe. Oh no, don't have the server stop right now. Don't time out. Come on. Oh man, right when I go to show it, it's like my server has been booted since the beginning, and it's like, you're over. No, come on. Come on. It just automatically turns off if I don't view enough stuff with it. Come on, don't turn off. Hang on. I can hear it going. What type of soil do I use for IMO? I use half field soil, half red soil, meaning that half is from my field where I'm going to use it because that has rich other things like nematodes, protozoans. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Close-up pig videos. Oh, and I'm petting them. Oh, my. And then the red soil is really low nutrient content, but high mineral content. So like almost like red clay is what you want to use. Look at these pigs. Oh my gosh, they melt my heart, I tell you. This is my little female here, the one female. And this is like the day after they're born. I was up filming them. They're so much more active now. They're running around tussling with each other. But we went up and had a little photo shoot with them as day old. You can see their umbilical cord still hanging down. They haven't even dried off yet. This was the day after they were born. But yeah, that's the little. This guy, I think I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna keep the gold guy, the gold female and the silver male, and then probably one of the black, nice, bigger pigs there, because the black pigs are the bigger ones. And these gray guys came out last. They were kind of smaller. Oh, look at their little tails. Oh, I was looking at whether they're male or female right there. But yeah, I've been just having so much fun. I go up there and just like pet the pigs, you know, like we'll go up and I feed the pigs every day about 3 o'clock, and then I'll just, oh, look at his umbilical cord. And then his papa's right next door. They've now started to go into their papa's pen. They have a little hole to go across, but these little guys, oh, they're sleeping, standing up. Oh my gosh. They're so cute. I don't know, you know, it's like I spend like an hour up there just petting my pigs. And it's funny, I'm the only one in the family that can like pick them up and they don't squeal. They're like, they like me. They know my smell because I've been hanging out with them enough that they really enjoy it. Oh, but look at those cute little sausages. Riblets. Oh, in all the colors. And this guy, the doppelganger, he got stepped on yesterday. He has a huge hole in him, but it's okay. He's recovering. The IMOs cure the holes in them and everything. So, and James, here, I'll get off the pigs for 1 second, go back to the book here. And he's saying in the book, it says, I recommend 30 grams per liter or 3 grams per liter. So I want to clarify with the sea salt that, number one, if I'm reconstituting seawater, I add 30 grams for every liter. So if I want to just make seawater from sea salt, I'll add 30 grams per liter. Okay. And that will give me 3% salinity in there for every liter. So, what is that? 120 grams per gallon I'll add of sea salt. Now, if I want to just dilute it right to the proper dilution between 0.3 and 0.1, which is what I want for agricultural purposes, I then put 3 grams per liter, right? I divide that by 10 because that'll get me my thing right there, right? So in the book, it says, yeah, if you want to make seawater, add 30 grams per liter to make seawater. And that's the same as you got seawater out of the ocean minus your microbes, pretty much. But if you want to use it right away, you want to just go right to your 0.3 solution, then you go right here to your, 3 grams per liter or this, or you dilute your seawater 1 to 10 or 1 to 30, right? It's the equivalent of that. Okay. So I just want to clarify that because, in the book, it does say 30 grams per liter. So they're both, which is correct. They're both correct. They're different they're different things, right? Like, so 30 grams goes for this, 3 grams is for ready to use. Okay. So anyway, and, so a little bit more pigs before we jump into the other, presentation thing here. Let's see, a little bit more pigs. The pigs are so cute. Look at that one. Oh my gosh. Just their eyes are still blue because I don't even think they were turned on yet. And I'll go up and I'll take more pictures of them. And yeah, and there's the mama. Oh, short ribs. You're so good. Oh, and she's getting Sue's. And the pigs just make these little piles. I actually took some good video on my phone the other day, and there's the pigs in a pile, and oh, look, they're sleeping on each other. Oh, they're so, oh, I tell you, nothing cuter than little pigs. Oh, they're sleeping. Yeah, so. Oh my gosh, they're so fast too. Oh, look at that. Oh, the pig's sleeping. But yeah, I've been just really, really enjoying my pigs here. And just, I mean, what could be better than being a farmer and like having these little pigs, and you know, you get to play with them and have them come out. I don't know. It's just, it's funny. Some clickbaity titles. Yeah, I know. You won't believe what this solution will do for your soil, right? Oh, should add someone else to my channel to collaborate to do the clickbaity stuff. It's just not my style, man. You know, like, it's just, I want, there's honesty. It's like, why do I have to suck you in a clickbait? It's like, come on. But I guess you got to give the people what they want, right? But most people that tune in are actually, you know, you guys are like a cut above, I'd say. Not to put anyone down or say anything, but if you're tuned into this and you're watching this, you're like a true natural farmer doing real good things, and you know, keep showing up week after week and learning more and getting better. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so JC is saying I mixed equal weight IMO3 with clay, but it finished in a day, meaning the moisture was all used up. You and JC, did you moisten it up to be 60% moisture content? Because unless you're in like a desert, I don't know, that sounds a little weird to me, because you want to get it 60% moisture content. So you probably needed to add more water into there. Yeah, and the pigs do think I'm the mother. They do. They smell me, and they think, because I was playing with them so much when they were blind and like small, they associate the smell with me. And so when I pick them up, they think I'm like their mom. It's pretty fun. It's cute. Oh, seawater for pigskin to remineralize it. Interesting. I bet you that's actually a good thing to do. Yeah, I was thinking for acne treatments, I was thinking seawater, lacto, and vinegar. Right? If you got skin problems on your face, just rub that on. I bet you it'd cure it almost immediately. And be natural and not putting like caustic poisons on your face. Yeah, the 60% moisture you need there. Oh, Mickey, doing natural farming in Washington. That's awesome. Starting an internship. I hope you can show them some stuff, have some successes. I recommend you start small in the KNF, do a small area, make it shine. Instead of trying to go big on everything, just do a small area, shine that way, and then you can scale it up from there. I really recommend that way, because it's like, you know, if you try and go too big too soon, it can be hard. And Cecily getting her seaweed and seawater every week on her shopping trip. Cool. Yeah, it's nice to visit the thing. And Rainbow Possum Farms in Western Washington. The more you guys can link up, the better. So you guys should link up there. I'm assuming, you know, obviously don't, you know, be wary and, you know, practice your Second Amendment, you know, so you don't get into questionable situations. But still, man, you know, linking people up is great. So so you never add more water after the first application. Like, you really want to moisten your IMO pile up to 60% moisture pile when you're starting, like 60% moisture content when you're starting, and then don't add more moisture throughout the process, but you need to get it moist enough to start. Yeah. So anyway, those are those things. We could do more pigs, but why not continue this series here of thank you from Master Cho. And this week is bacterial mineral water. let's get into it because we got about 10 minutes left. And bacterial mineral water seems like something that's worth covering. It's one of my favorite ways to make a compost tea. And since I've been going through this series and we've pretty much been covering each time, I know last time we didn't get to it because we were just all pigs and it was so fun. Got to watch the pigs being born last week. So if you want to check that out, it's there. But bacterial mineral water, make your own BMW at home, right? And convince all your friends you're cool with your BMW, right? So, BMW, what is it? The basic principle is to strengthen absorption ability by making water particles smaller. And it contains dissolved oxygen. So, if you can make the water particles smaller, which is true, if you look at this and you see water is very mysterious. As water becomes structured, it also becomes more absorbable, all these different things. And if you're curious, getting the book, The Fourth Phase of Water by Gerald Pollack, or his other book, The Cells, Gels, and something, The Engines of Life. Those books are great. But these are like chelating and making particles smaller. When they're smaller, it's more absorbable, right? And the water can be uptaken easier. It enters the cell wall. Otherwise, you end up with what you call bulk water, which is unstructured water, and it's all stuck together because they're all sharing the H2O. It's like constantly sharing the electrons between it, and the water will stick together. But when you structure your water and you actually run it through the BMW, they'll all have their own electrons, and it will become H3O2 instead of H2O. It's an actual different chemical element, which is kind of edgy. It's not that well scientifically understood, but it's actually closer to how energy works. Like you have E equals MC squared, E equals H2O. Very similar chemical formulas, but the H3O2 is actually a different chemical version, and the same with energy. You'll actually find there's E equals M3. Anyway, but I can't just rattle that off the top of my head. I gotta actually have it in front of me. But the basic idea, you can make water smaller, you can make it more structured, and it can contain more dissolved oxygen, which obviously changes the electrical component of the water. So that's what Master Cho is saying. That's his reasons for giving it. What does it actually look like? It looks like this, where you have a water coming in, goes up a tube, and drops 3 meters down onto these rocks. These rocks, angular rocks, he recommends granite, limestone, basalt, elven, you know, all these different types of rocks, corals, he says basalt, all the, like in my case, I use lava rocks. I use some coral. I have some elven rock. I also use jade, to get that calmag, everyone's favorite calmag. And I don't have any granite in there. Maybe I should get some granite rocks. But the water falls 3 meters and it falls onto these rocks. When it falls on these rocks, what it does is it's able to pull, especially when they're sharp, it pulls out the minerals. That's how you're getting the mineral water as your water's falling. Then into this water, you also dangle a bag of IMO4 and have it hang. And continue to refill your IMO4 as it goes. But that's how you're getting the bacterial or the fungus or this living microbe. You can almost call it micro mineral water. That'd probably be a better, closer translation to what's right. But the water's falling, it's hitting this, and then it's going into this tank where after this hit, it then kind of gets all these bacteria, and there's a lot of oxygen as that water falls through the air. 3 meters, it pulls a bunch of oxygen in, just like rain does. And by circulating this around the 3 meters, you can actually get the oxygen content up to about 14%, somewhere between 7 to 14%. And then you would take it and, it'd come up through this little filter going around again and then go to your output. And I don't know why this second tube is not dropping 3 meters. It seems like it's just pouring it back over and doing its thing. And then it goes to your output by these different valves of which way you change it in this little pump here. So this is one way to do it. And this is what they're doing with the bacterial mineral water of what he's talking about. This little thing where you have the water circulate around, drop it 3 meters, and make it. And it's a little confusing from this thing because this other one doesn't look like it's dropping 3 meters, but maybe this output should have gone back up and dropped 3 meters. I'm not exactly sure. When I've seen it in practice, they definitely weren't, you know, some people were dropping it 3 meters, some were just dropping it shorter. It doesn't, you know, the basic idea is that you're dropping the water back onto these rocks. It's hitting this like a waterfall. It's splashing onto these rocks. It's able to pull that out. And then also the bacteria starts to colonize these rocks and further create biofilms, which are dissolving these rocks and getting more minerals into your water. So in his next slide here, it says BMW are abundant in trace minerals and trace elements because it's pulling those out of the rocks, especially when you start to put crystals in there, like some quartz crystals, some amethysts, rubies, you know, diamonds. What else have I put in there? I put in rhodosites. You know, all these. My friend used to actually live in this house, was a gem dealer, and he gave me a bunch of his cracked rocks that he can't sell, his gems, and then I would load it in this machine and just spin it around, and it's getting it. You could drink this water. I don't. You know, you gotta be careful with it, especially when you put IMO in there and all that stuff. But BMW promotes plant growth. Why? Because roots love oxygen. Your roots love the minerals, they love the oxygen, they love the bacteria, they love it when it's been cycled this way. It's like you're putting like good pure river water and like glacial water, you know, that stuff that just makes things crank on there. And so it's going to love it. The plants, especially the roots, you get it in there, it's just like your plant's going to take off. BMW produces mineral rich crops and improves storability, right? So if your plant is full of minerals, then your fruit is not going to decay as fast. Your plant is going to be stronger. It's like full of rock minerals, right? Those rocks, it's like making your plant strong. And the storability, it's the same reason we add more seawater towards the ripening point, is because the more minerals makes it store longer, makes it sweeter, makes it more mineral rich. All those things you want to eat, because our minerals are just basically going down in commercial agriculture. Now you can use the BMW and your plant, your produce will actually have more minerals in it. It says BMW deodorizes manure. This is something I didn't know until just now. But I guess spray it on and that bacteria, that oxygen, will go in there and help get rid of those anaerobic stinky things that are making your poop stink. All right, it'll go in there and just eat it up. So go ahead, spray BMW straight on top there. And actually, this is something I should try because I've been dropping fish out in the field and that fish smells to high heaven. I do put protectors and IMO on it, but it still smells. But I think I'm going to try some bacterial mineral water. I have a little small vortex brewer that I make, very similar concept. And I'm going to give it a try. And then install a circulation pump to increase the BMW concentration. So if you look at this this thing here, it's not just coming in once, it's this circulation pump. That's a pump right there that's pumping it around and back around and spinning it around and around and around. And that's very similar to the design that I have, although mine's a mini BMW. It's not, I'm not dropping it 3 meters. I'm only dropping it about the height of a 5-gallon bucket. But it's actually propelled via the air lift pump and everything. So it's very, it's doing its thing. So those are all the things that Master Cho talks about with the BMW. It's a great thing. Thank you from Master Cho. But what I want to show you guys is maybe a little bit of mine. I know I've covered it actually a whole lot in these office hours, but if you're new to the channel, subscribe, right? No, that's what they always say. But let me just search BMW here. Let's see here. And I'll show you, this is a vortex oxygenated water. Let me see what this video has here. Oh, this is actually the BMW in Korea. So let's watch this one. I'll transition this over here. And this is their version of it. So this is their agricultural learning center in Gokseong. This is us cruising in. Let's see, I must either speed it up or fast forward a little bit because, you know, they're showing off all their tall rice. It's Joe McGinn there, Bruce Lee. But anyway, we go into their whole learning thing. Oh, look, there's that guy. Used to be a friend of mine. And then here we're going to go into the BMW. Oh, so there's the BMW. I'll slow it down now. Let's see. And just show you. So this is the example. They're having it fall. It's going through this little collector here, but this little window, I'll peek inside there. So you see their little filter. There's the water dropping down. And then I'm looking inside there, and I don't know if you can see it, but the water's falling down, and it's falling onto a basket of rocks sitting right in there. So there's the water level. I think they turned it off right now so we can see it. Looking in there, and maybe you guys can hear the volume. I don't know. I can't hear it here because and there's Dr. Park talking about it a little bit, but it's basically you know, the exact same as they talked about, where here's, I think that's a little filter there, pump coming out, it dropping down. Do I have a picture of the rocks? I know I do. Here, just looking at it a little bit more here. Yeah, Chris, you know, there was a thing that happened in 2018 where he kicked me out of the KNF group and banned me from the thing, and it was just really kind of ended our friendship. You know, I've traveled with him. He was like literally my best friend. He baptized me, speaking of Easter, you know, but yeah, anyway, you know, I think he wanted to take all the power in natural farming. He was jealous of what I was doing. That's just my opinion, man. I don't know. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask him what happened. He'd probably tell you a slightly different story. He'd probably say I like stole an app from him, which is, you know, may or may not be the case. I don't think so. And because he didn't have the ability to develop it or anything. But anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it. It brings up bad memories for me and everybody in the community. It really divides the natural farming community, is the truth. And but here's us looking at all these rocks, and these are the different rocks they loaded in there. You can see different things, different mineral things that are put in there. But yeah, this is the BMW that's there. Yeah, and then so you can check that out. It's on the channel. Just search BMW, and then let's search BMW one more time. BMW. Oh, come on, BMW. Okay, that's what I have to do. And then here, let's see. This one's from 2013. What's this one gonna be? Is this some BMW? Oh, this is my system set up here. Okay, so I have this airlift pump, which is going to that out there. Oh, and this is just a trash can version of it. There's not a vortex on the bottom. This is just a simple trash can version. So this pipe gets plugged into that. Air hose coming up. I do have a better video that's like a paid for thing on my website, and it's actually like way better than this of showing you exactly how I did it. This is kind of an older version, but the basic idea is that the airlift pump lifts this water back up and splashes it around, and then I put a bucket on there with these holes, which this is a bad design, but you can see I'm putting the crystals in there. This one does not work that well, but it'll pump these around, and then I hook this onto that system so that as this water is pumping around in that airlift system, it's hitting these crystals, and then it's going down into the water below. So I kind of got this little dropping the rocks, and this is obviously not 3 meters tall. It's much smaller than that. But I've since refined this to be much better of how it works, but it's a basic airlift pump design, so I'm not destroying my biology. It's coming up and around, it's going down, it's hitting the crystals, and I put IMO in there, and then I put this lid on to silence it, because without that it's pretty noisy of it just like glug, 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 but this silencer goes on top. And that's its final thing of it, kind of. But this is an early prototype design. I made a much better one with a vortex down below, but this one's a bit simpler, of just a trash can with another trash can up top of what I made. And then I think here at the end, I'm putting some IMOs in there. I'm going to mute this because I don't know if you guys can hear it. Probably can. And I'm just putting microbes in the top, and those things go around, do their thing. A little bit of foods for them, a little bit of solutions in there. And like I said, this is from 2013, so I didn't know too much about natural farming back then. But I think I did put it in a bag and then put the bag in there. That's what I was doing. So I don't know what the filter's made of. I think it's just rocks, sand. No, a possum farm. Sorry, Earl actually got hacked the other day in the Korean natural farming group, and a bunch of people got kicked. So we undid most of that, but his account got hacked and somebody kicked him. So, and it was, yeah, he got hacked. So it wasn't him. Earl did get hacked. He's a legit dude. I know Earl. He's a good friend of mine. He came to my wedding. He's like a legit dude. But his account got hacked. So anyway, speaking of hackers and all this stuff and things, so I apologize for that, but it's not. Yeah, he got hacked. So anyway, I apologize for that. I hope that, you know, I don't know what ended up happening. There's some weird things going on. And shungite, yeah, shungite's a good thing to put in there. We do have some shungite here. My wife was trying to make me eat it, which I am allergic to it. But putting a little bit into the water, I think, is a good idea. Apparently, it's like black goo from the earth. You can look it up. But shungite's an interesting thing. Okay, and so with that, I'm way over time here. So, but dealing with the issues, the natural farming thing, it's not always the easiest to run a group and do things and have good people in there. But Rainbow Possum Farm, reach out. I'll make you a moderator. That way you can't get kicked out and you can deal with things on those things. So more moderators we have, the better, is really what it comes down to. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this week. Happy Easter to everybody. You know, it's spring. It's time for, you know, putting love to the highest. Love Jesus in my heart for sure, and all that, you know. And however you express that is great with me. So let's see, what was I gonna do here? I was going to put up the KNF Pure KNF website here, but let me just put it up, of, you know, thanking them for sponsoring all this. Pure KNF, Master Cho representing all this good soil, my pig Estelle, who's now in the freezer. And again, if you want to see the old episodes, you can find them here. Visit KNF support right here, and then look up the office hours right here, and you will see all of these here. And our table of contents, I'm going to update those after this and try to fix my websites and get rid of all the drama and fix all the hackers and all that. So, and then also go enjoy the Easter with my parents, and we're going to play a little bit of cornhole and go pet the pigs and have a good time as a family. So again, thanks to KNF, you know, Pure KNF Foundation, which supports all this through KNF support. All those, they're all linked together. And thank you for tuning in and being an amazing person and doing great KNF, and much love to you, your family, everybody out there around, and you know, keep a good thing growing. Enjoy spring coming. Really appreciate you guys. So aloha, and I'll see you next week. Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna close this curtain. Ready?